Hi guys, I'm Trista from Sincerely Trista Studios, and I'm here with Aina, owner of the ride, and we're just gonna do a pretty brief but good stretch out for after cycling, maybe after even body camp, to give you some conditioning. So first things first, we're just gonna start standing, very simple, and we're gonna use this to help us ground and kind of get into our body in a more calming way. So you can do this at hips width distance. You can bring the legs together too if that resonates with you more, to find more of that center line through the body. I'm gonna set up hips width and just give a little bit of a bend in the knee. So when we're initially starting this, you don't necessarily have to think in the lines of right or wrong. I would just shut your eyes and start listening right away. Breathing is a great place to begin. Shifting the weight forward and back in the feet, right? Going forward and kind of giving your toes the opportunity to stop you from falling in that direction. And then softening the knees and shifting back and lifting the 10 toes and kind of feeling the extremes of both of those directions. You may even go right and left and do a big circle one way. And then kind of reversing that. Arms by the sides. As you're tapping into the breath at the beginning, start noticing right away if you're breathing upwards in the shoulder area, especially if you're coming off the bike and have just had more of an accelerated heart rate and movement in that direction. We're gonna try to drop the exhales nice and low. Let's just take a breath to get on the same page. So we're gonna exhale everything out. Let's inhale through the nose to slow it down. Hold it in, take another extra breath in, and then exhale very slowly out of your mouth. Get completely empty. Inhale through the nose when you're ready. Take another sip, and then exhale out of the mouth. Good things coming through. Let's do it again. Inhale through the nose. Extra sip, and exhale. Good. From here, if you have anything you need to wiggle out, you're starting to feel tension anywhere, just shake it out for a moment. Shrug the shoulders up. You can make faces, eyes up and down. Stick the tongue out. Make sure you have enough room. We're gonna just take the arms from there. You're gonna swing them out and up. Once your arms start to go up, just clasp the fingers, flip the wrist, crack the knuckles if that feels good, and stretch. So don't worry so much right now if your shoulders are lifting. We want to lift the side body up so the shoulders can go with it if they need to. You're gonna take a stretch out to the right. When you're stretching, soften the knees and lean into the heels, and then push the ground away by lifting from your low belly. And the underarm is going to be utilized to really find the leverage. So try to really push through that wrist, that base of the wrist. And yeah, you're still trying to access that breath we started with in grounding. Take one more full inhale. Think about left side ribs to left armpit. Push on your exhale. Good. Come all the way up on an inhale. Wiggle if you need to, and then you're going to lift up and over. Other side. And this is not like aggressive. If you're starting to feel like you're getting rigid anywhere, or the legs are locking out, soften and then re-engage with the floor underneath you so you can really feel your feet. You can find your base. Yeah, the breath may have to isolate a little bit more into that right side that's lifting because we're leaning into the left side. So it just gives it the opportunity to isolate space. Think about pushing through the heel of your left hand. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, lean a little bit farther. Come all the way up. You can keep this and push the ceiling away, or if you need a break on the wrists, reach through the fingers. On your next breath out, you're gonna fold over the legs to a nice deep forward fold. So my first bit of advice with a forward fold is to generously bend your knees. Right, you want to give yourself access to folding at the hip space and low back space. From here, you can grab opposite hand, opposite elbow. You can let your arms drop. You can grab behind the legs if you want a shoulder stretch. You can do arms over the head heavy. It's a great place to just let everything go. But if you want to be a little bit more analytical in your alignment, you can also start to look at your feet and just notice, are they pointing in a different direction? Do you roll in at the ankle, out at the ankle? How do your knees point? And you're just going to continuously work yourself in line, knees with toes. Okay, we're going to do our first movement to extend the spine, which we'll continue to play with as we go along here. So take a place of your hands on the floor, shins are above your thighs. You can keep your knees bent. You're going to take an inhale and push the thighs or floor away, lengthen your spine out. And then your exhale, you're going to draw it right back down. So think of it as like a spine mover, a lengthener. Do it again. Inhale, lengthen it out. Push the floor with your feet. Exhale, drop it down. Nice. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, extend. And then exhale, fold. Let your head go, and then put your hands down and step your feet back. We're going to work into a plank position. Okay, so when you get your heels set and your arms set, you should feel somewhat comfortable in the wrists. If this is not comfortable, you can always go down to the elbows or lift your heels of the hands up by folding your mat in front of you. From here, we're just going to simply come to the tippy toes as far as your wrists let you and draw your knees to the floor. Untuck the toes from there and spread them on the floor. We're going to lower very slowly all the way to the belly, pausing about halfway there for a modified chaturanga. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, chin forward, 2, hold the halfway point. Now see if you can maintain hugging the elbows, chin forward, low belly in, and breathing consistently for 3, 2, lower all the way on 1. Nice. Let your legs lengthen a little bit more if they can. Keep the elbows drawn in and then lift the back about halfway up. So this first time, this is more about finding the back muscles than using the arms. So try lifting the hands up and see if your spine stays there. You're going to take a full breath into the front of the chest and then exhale, lower down. Now we're going to move it. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, lower down. Good. Try to keep the legs down. We're going to do one more. Inhale, lift the chest up. No arm strength. Exhale, lower it down. Now from here, tuck the toes back down through the balls of the feet to the floor. You can use your knees or just the arms. Scoop the low belly. Push halfway, then all the way to plank. And then we're going to go back to a down dog. First down dog. So generally, you shouldn't have to move the legs too much to the hands or feet if you had a good plank position. But adjust it so it feels stable. I do about hips width distance, maybe a little bit wider for my feet, and I bend the knees in down dog just like a fold. You're going to tilt the tailbone up, wrap and hug at the upper arm bones, and then push the floor away. Let the head go. And then try to find access to the breath that you found in the very beginning, right? Find the floor with your feet. There's obviously a lot more strength involved in this one, but see if you can create consistency. Take a big breath. And exhale. Okay, now look at your hands, bend the knees, and walk all the way to the top of your mat. Keep your hands on the ground as long as you can, but bend the knees once you need to in your fold and let it go. We're going to take that half lift again. Inhale, push into your point. Exhale, fold longer down the legs. Now reach forward and up. Inhale, stand all the way up. You can press palms or just reach. And then exhale, draw your hands to the heart center and just ground. Okay, so we've gone through a modified variation of Sun 8. Now we're going to go a little bit swifter. You can keep the modification with the knees down when we lower, or just take it from plank. You're going to take an inhale, reach your arms up. On your exhale, fold all the way down, bending knees as needed. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, hang heavy, find plank. So from here, look forward, take an inhale. Either lower with knees or without, halfway. On your exhale. Then on your inhale, you're going to push up to up dog, and we'll sustain this one a little bit. So you want to lengthen through the legs. You can bring the knees down if you need to. Push the floor away and try to lift your chin just enough to get the chest and throat to open and stretch. Take a breath. On your exhale, lift to down dog. Pausing there. Especially for those of you that feel like you're in your hands a lot, bend the knees more and lift the butt while you kick the heels. You may even be able to get your chest really close to your thigh bones doing that. Try lifting the toes. push through that first finger and thumb and let the head go. Okay, we're gonna move again a little bit more with breathing. Inhale, push the floor away. Exhale, walk, step or jump. Find your hands. Take a halfway lift. Exhale, hang heavy. Inhale, stand up, reach forward and up. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart, to center. Go again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold down. Halfway lift. Exhale to plank. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, go down. Back bend on your inhale. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, push the floor away. Exhale, walk, step or jump. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms up. However you want to reach. Exhale, fold down. Halfway lift. Exhale to plank. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, go down. Inhale, back bend. And exhale to down dog, pause. Good. Okay, so from here, you're gonna keep that down dog, bending the knees, and you can adjust again the feet as you need to. Try to lengthen through the side body, head heavy. Good. We're gonna move forward to plank. Try to keep the chin forward. Do your best for those of you that have to have the knees down. You're gonna lift your right leg up, bring your knee into your nose, and then lengthen it back to plank. Do it again. Knee to nose, lengthen it to plank. Knee to nose. Last one. Step the foot through. So you might have to actually move your foot through if you've got some extra tightness. From there, we're gonna drop the back knee down. Setting up wise, I would just make sure that your front foot is a little closer to your right thumb. And you want the heel of the wrist and the heel of the foot in line. Back knee, if you look back there, try to get in line with your left hand. So some of us go too narrow for our flexibility, and that width is just gonna give you a little bit more stability. Go ahead and climb up. If you have sensitive knees, we can always grab a blanket for that back leg. We can always use extra padding. You can also keep this leg up behind you if you'd like. Okay, so you can stay with this. This is your place to be if you're already feeling quite a bit, especially in the front of the leg. You can also come out of the lunge a little bit, and untucking the toes is an option. From here, if you are feeling like you want more, we're gonna take this left elbow across the right knee. You can also do it with the hand as an option. If you're going down, you're going to fold, use your right hand as a leverage point, and then you're gonna cross. You can think like almost to armpit if you can get there. The big thing with this is to make sure you're not bullying the front knee with your arms. You have to push back with some resistance and scoop the low belly. Yeah, this right hand is now free to kind of play with. You can put it in the right hip crease to draw that hip down. You can also take it behind the back to lift the left hip as you push the right knee out. This is a stretch as much as it's a stabilizer, right? So try to make sure you're still feeling the breath into the feet. Front foot down on the exhale, back foot lengthening when you inhale. Yeah, take another breath in. On your exhale, bring your hands to the ground. You're gonna gently lean your hips back. Now this is our half split. You can take the foot in flexion. You can keep it pointed. We're trying to stay in line with the hip. If you feel like you wanna play with stuff though, you could go a little bit more at that 2 o'clock position. You could even turn out the leg and kind of feel out how that's shifting the stretch for you. If you need a little bit more height, blocks. If you can't get the ground. For those of you that feel a little bit more mobile, you can also start to stretch it out. Being very gentle with your back knee. Try not to turn the back leg out. So you need the knee to point exactly down so this hip isn't flaring open. And leaning forward can help take some of the pressure out of the low back if you're starting to feel a bigger back bend there that you don't want. Let's take another big breath. On your exhale, slowly begin to start that exit, just wiggling your way back, especially for those of you that did the split. We're gonna go ahead and move right to a tabletop position, which you're pretty close to it with that one leg there. And just take a few cat-cows. You're gonna inhale and look up, low belly very lifted, and then exhale, lift it into the back even more, tucking the chin and pushing the ground. And then just keep going. Let's do a couple more. If you feel like going rogue and doing your own thing, play with it, right? That may mean you go in circles. That may mean you just kind of wiggle about. Make it really intuitive, right? There's no right and wrong way to do it. And see if you can just really access yourself, right? Before we do that left side, how are you feeling in opposition of not doing it on one side versus the other yet? Okay, take your time, but you're gonna work your way by tucking the toes back to plank position. Chin forward to make the chest go a little bit more open. Lift your left leg up, bring your knee to your nose, round. Try not to move your shoulders. Lengthen the leg out, chin up, chin in, round. Lengthen it out, and in. Step the foot. You can again move your hand with your foot. Start with the long lunge. And again, you just want to have more hips width distance between the feet, chest open. Bringing the back knee down as an option. Untucking the toes as an option. Staying here or lifting up to here as an option. I know for me, one side is way tighter. So I might do a little bit less on this side or a little bit more in certain places to leverage it differently. If you're twisting, you can stay upright and start to move the torso just like this. If you want a little bit more, folding the torso, getting the elbow to connect with the knee using the hand of the thigh, and then pushing out and in. So you're really creating communication between the leverage points. If you're going a little farther, you could even go as far as doing armpit and getting that hand behind the back to lift the hip from dropping. Be mindful the farther you fold though, you might have one side of your torso that's shortening to get you there. So try to lengthen out, right? So no crunching on the side that you're leaning to. And no matter where you take it, you have to be able to breathe there. And if you're not, you've gone too far. It's always the rule. It may be different feeling in breath, right? You're expanding places that are unable to be as full as they were in standing, but you're able to breathe. Last breath on this side. Exit as you're ready. Put your hands down and lean the hips back. All right, so you're working to get a straight leg in front of you. Those of you that have a bent knee, think about getting some pillows or cans of soup or something that just lift you up a little higher to give you more space. You might, again, play with things like you did on the other side. I would say, though, if you are a person that is moving a lot, to avoid just holding one specific stretch, think about that. Try to sit with the place that is not uncomfortable as in painful, but just isn't the most fun to stay in, but might help you more. I'm going to attempt to do a little bit more full split on this side. Play with that. This side for me is definitely more tight. If you have a block with you, we have them, we just don't have them with us right now. You could put it underneath your butt cheek. And that'll give your arms a break so you can actually drop into it a little bit more. Yeah, breathe into the discomfort. Exhale the air out. Let's do another big breath in. And then exhale. Nice. Slowly start to come back to your tabletop position again. And just give yourself traditional cat-cows of arching to rounding or whatever movements feel good. For those of you that aren't really feeling into the movement part of it, you can tuck the toes under and just lean back onto the balls of your feet. Just try not to let your ankles go out or in too much. Keep them nice and in line. Okay, last little stretch we're gonna do, and then we'll close class off. We're gonna just take our pigeon. So this is a nice hip stretch. You're gonna come to plank again. Let's do the right side first. Chin forward, bring your knee into your nose, knee to the wrist, let the top of the foot start to come down where it feels comfortable. This is usually about the point you'll discover if your knee hurts or not. If that's the case, I'm gonna show a modification in a moment, and you can kind of come off of the leg. Those of you that feel okay, let your back knee drop down and make sure it's not behind your center, but in line with the hip and not turning out. Push back a little bit, make sure the knee still feels okay. We're pretty close to the wall, so we kind of adjust a little bit. Now, generally the knee in line with the wrist is a good place to start. It might come a little bit more in, but this leg does not have to be to the hand, right? It can be more facing towards the hip line. Over time, it can go forward the more flexible you feel like you're getting. But then from there, as long as you're feeling okay, you start to shift forward and down. And there's lots of variations that you can play with this if you have them. Generally, you'll feel it in the band of this right hip. No knee pain. Back knee can also be padded like we did in the lunge. If you do feel like you want a little bit extra, you can take that opposing arm to the front leg and do a thread the needle move, which just gives you a little bit of a twist feeling in the chest. For those of you that have knee stuff, you're gonna go against a wall, put your butt flush against it, put the legs up it, take that right leg, bend it, cross the ankle over the thigh, and then start to push into the wall with this top leg. You don't wanna go crazy wide and you don't wanna turn out too much, just try to keep it parallel, flexing the ankle that's on top and trying to not let your butt swing too much. You also don't want your butt to lift up. And then again, trying to refocus in on the consistency of your breathing. Grounding into the floor. You have a lot more of you against the floor. So feel all that out. Let's take a big breath. Exhale. Fill up through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And very gently, you're just going to start to adjust out of it. Take your time. If you feel like doing another Chaturanga Vinyasa just to kind of reset, you can roll through one of those. It's nice sometimes to take that up dog after that stretch, so do what feels good. You're just gonna lift into the places that resonate. Maybe even take it to down dog. From there, we're just gonna switch sides. So going to plank, looking forward, knee in, go behind the wrist, put the foot down, assess the situation, back leg at about hips width. You're gonna try to push back. No knee pain. You might have a side that's tighter, more sensitive. Do what's necessary. No knee pain in the front foot, and you don't want to be on top of your shin. You want to be just a little bit beyond it. You can also put a block under there. or a bolster. Fold as you're ready. If on the other side you didn't need to do the modification and this side's feeling it, it doesn't have to be as symmetrical in the same way as the pose looks. Adjust, right? Do that adjustment on this side, either against the wall. I'll show another variation of it too. You can also, if you want to, instead of going on the back, you can do this seated against a wall or without by taking that figure 4, just as such. Flexing the toes, trying to keep heel in line with hip, flexion at the ankle, and then eventually getting this foot to come closer in, and you'll feel that nice stretch along. Aina is showing the cross underneath from the top arm threading the needle if you want a little bit of that chest opening. And wave-like breaths. Exhale everything out. Taking a big breath. Offload, exhale. Good, yeah, start your exit. This will be your last opportunity if you do want to do one more of the movement of up dog to down dog. If you are working your way to a down dog or haven't started to, start to work there now. This will just be our last one. It's a great place just to assess how you're feeling after the opening. Finding the floor, 4 points of contact. Last big breath in. And exhale. Awesome. From here, we're just going to bring the knees down. Go ahead and come to seating, sit to a seat, either on the heels if your knees are okay. You can also sit cross-legged, knees out. We're going to end in this position and just seal it off with a few breaths to ground out of the work. So once you are in that position, just get tall through your spine, very awake to yourself in space. And feel free to set a timer and continue to work into meditation with this as well, right? You don't have to end with us here. You can really work in your stillness for as long as you'd like. We are going to collectively take 3 big breaths together to end the practice. So let's start by just licking the lips, softening the brow, finding the low belly is nice and soft. Exhale everything out. Inhale full. Exhale, empty. And again, big breath in. And empty again. Last one, biggest breath of your day so far. Let's hold it in. Take an extra sip. And let it go. Thank you so much for joining us. Namaste.